Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy Viewers. This is Grand Arena, the second matchup of Week 3, Season 26. Last round was a win, but it hardly counts because my opponent didn't even hit me, and I don't know why players do this. Like, you don't get crystals if you don't at least do a failed attempt. So I guess we'll click on it to click on it. But there's nothing to report or is different from the last round. 0 points. I'm kind of surprised that the player doing that would still be in Kyber 2 and not have dropped out by now, but from his Grand Arena history, that's what I was suspecting was going to happen. Kind of surprised to still see it. My opponent today is Lup. He has a good roster, good mods, and let me show you what he has at the top end. Only 2 GLs, and here's how they measure out. Decently modded. He just doesn't have a lot of mod depth, but his good mods are good. So this is what the hotbot shows. Smaller guild. Lifetime banners is at a level for a serious player, or at least takes Grand Arena seriously. Clears and undersizes are good. The Zetas, though, are low. That's kind of a surprise. I've got some fluff in mind, but that tells me he has some characters without Zetas that I have with Zetas. He has just 3 more relics than I, and very shallow depth. And that is what I'm really strategized around and what I'm going to work against. Mods, he's got slightly more 6-dot mods, but I have the higher counts except for the 25 plus speed mods. And then the relic distribution, he has a lot of lower relics, which is pretty atypical for what you see. Not a lot of tier 7 or tier 5. Not tremendously different than what I have, but a different distribution of those relics. We are tied on JMK speeds. He has Sith Eternal Emperor. His Jedi Knight Luke is not relicked. Padme is good. Anakin's good. Like, this is what I mean. His characters are modded pretty well, the ones that are used. His Maul is slow, but he has a Maul. We are tied with our cats, but he has a gear or a relic level advantage. His Moff Gideon's good. The only one that's not great is his Echo, but he has a lower gear on his Echo. And then the 7-star Executor. Let's get in here and take a look at the defense. I changed my defense for this matchup, working with a different strategy. So here's what's changed. What I'm doing with my defense strategy this time is challenging his depth a little bit more than I have in the past several weeks or months. So Shock T has been put on defense. And part of this is reviewing his own Grand Arena history, expecting that he's not really going to change things, but he is a player who looks serious enough that he might be checking my Grand Arena history, and I want to surprise him if he does. So one of the bigger changes is I put a GL on defense, which is atypical for me because at 2 GLs that's not usually an option, but up against a fellow 2 GL player I expect he's saving both of his GLs for offense. So my JMK is on defense, and the whole goal there is I'm just trying to pull away his better counters because I don't want him to use his good teams against my bad teams. That's a losing situation. But if I pull out his good counters and I'm forcing him to use his depth up against my depth, that's a battle I can win. And so Starkiller has gone on defense for that reason. This is not a good Starkiller team, but I expect it will probably take his second GL or he will use it there instead of using a different counter up against it, or using one of his stronger counters up against one of my weaker teams. And from there, I think I have a pretty solid chance at winning this more efficiently than him. He does have the Wampa Omicron. So taking a look at what he has set. Kylo Ren, Telzine, the Bad Batch, Maul, all of these not super worrisome. You gotta still respect a number of those teams. And then the lower territory, following his pattern. Iden, Jango, Grievous, and Qui-Gon. And I didn't set my... Did I not set my... Yeah, I didn't set my Grievous, partly because he has the Wampa Omicron, but Wampa's going to be able to take out something. The way that I'm thinking about Wampa is just putting enough high-quality teams down, now that there's more of these characters that can solo or more of these good teams. We all have to be revisiting and trying to increase the overall quality of our defense in order to challenge that, all those new offensive counters that we've been getting lately. Alright, so my plan... Let's get started on this. I'm going to start with Grievous. Just Wampa that, straightforward. I think I can just auto this. Wampa, or not Wampa, Watt last round made it take a lot longer. Maybe that was 2 rounds ago, but it wasn't in question. All right, from here. Get to the point where I throw down protection up twice. It's safe at that point. I want to go 3-0 this week. I feel like I can do it based on my bracket. I think the only thing that gets in my way is me. So I need to resist the urge to do the dumb stuff I like to do, or some of the testing I like to do. Alright, I need to stop. The autoing did not work. I mean, it kind of worked, but it got scary. It did not play it the way I would want to play it. Alright. This camera does not want to stay in focus today. We're going to do the counter that didn't work out for me last week, which is Night Sisters up against Qui-Gon. But I'm pretty sure the difference maker last time was Kiadi Mundi. Those armor shreds on Madaka messed it all up. And I probably am not going to do this anymore if Ki-Adi-Mundi is present, which is not the case in this situation. But I do want to update my preset to have Talia, because the preventing stuns and healing immunity is in my interest, which I did not do that time I lost. Alright, let's heal up. Pull off the Foresight. I just don't want them to be doing a bunch of damage yet, and I want to keep Anakin stunned as much as possible. From here, all I'm doing is letting somebody die and then bringing them back as much as I can to get the health and damage stacked. I should have done an AoE right then. No, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have got the Foresight back. I want to get out from this taunt though and make sure Anakin is stunned. Everyone is going to get their healing and their protection back after Qui-Gon goes down, so that I'm not concerned about. I just want to make sure the scary attackers can't damage me. Ayla's got that stun, so I want to get rid of her too. I'm leaving Plague off of Qui-Gon because I don't want him to die early. And then just paying attention to how much damage is being done to Dako when she does get hit. And then I'm just continuing to hit basics. Alright, see, they're still doing a little bit of damage there. Not a huge deal, but for maybe another 30 seconds or so, that's something I want to do. I think I'm pretty good now. I want Anakin stunned. Actually, you know what? Let's dispel. Anakin probably has an AoE coming up. Maybe not. Yeah, okay. Now that that's been done, I want him stunned. You can see how little damage it did that time. Now I want to hit Qui-Gon. See, straightforward and easy. It's just Ki-Adi-Mundi really changed it. The armor shreds negated the stacking health on Daka. And I think it still would have been possible to beat it with Night Sisters. I needed to heal. Or not heal, I needed to revive. But I needed to control both Anakin and Ki-Adi-Mundi that other time, like I was trying to control more of the field up here, just keeping them stun locked. That's my preferred counter because it's a very cheap counter for a more problematic team. And a team where I feel like things can go a little bit more wrong for other teams. Like if you trigger that Anakin AoE at the wrong time, it can mess up Palpatines. It can mess up CLS. even though generally, like, those are decent counters too. But it's the amount of room for error that is created with Night Sisters that I like. I'm gonna maul this. Because any high relic bounty hunter team, especially paired with Zam, I don't mess around with that. Although I would like a cheap counter for one of these kinds of teams. This is part of the reason I'd like a counter, another counter, is because it would, at least if my opponent doesn't have Sith Eternal Emperor, this is a team that would be decent to put on defense. It's just, it's too useful on offense, so I never would consider it. But I'm always trying to think about what other teams I might like to throw on defense. Alright, that'll take care of Jango. It's also one of the reasons I haven't put on the Zam Omicron. Like, if a player knows what they're doing, they're not going to get tripped up by that Zam Omicron. It's, if you're not planning around for it, or you're not exposed to it, then you'll have trouble with it. Which I don't think, at least at Kyber 2, happens enough for me to put it on. Like, I don't know if I'm going to put it on. It might be like the Insight Zeta on JTR. I missed the window where that was a relevant Zeta, and so I never put it on. I only recently put it on, like maybe in the past month, because I've been throwing her on defense. I wanted to make her a little better. Alright, Iden here with a Relic Stark. My plan was Traya. I'm just thinking through to make sure it's what I want to do. I should be fine. My only concern is I lose one of these Sith early and Death Trooper does a little bit of work. Which maybe then stealth from Sith Assassin. I don't know about Savage. I'm tempted by Sith Trooper, but this is what we're gonna do. Hoping we'd get a stealth before all that happened. Alright, there's enough debuffs. Cooldowns increase, but Death Trooper could really cause some problems. I'm happy you didn't put down a death mark right then. Okay. Now we get rid of Shore. Perfect. Okay, now I'm not scared anymore. I really want a relic Scion. This is one of those ones I always delay. I need a better counter. Maybe it would be better to do Wampa and then just use somebody else up against Grievous. That's probably a better banner path. But that might put me back into a situation where, like Shock T that I put on defense this time, then I would be saving Shock T for defense, or I would be risking like my weak Bad Batch team again. There's a number of cascading decisions that come from that. And then again, I guess I have Grievous for offense now, which I haven't had in maybe a year more. Alright, Backwall is different actually. JTR is not in his history. I was expecting Mando, Ackbar, and Newt. It's only one change. But let's do this. Because I was expecting this, I kept Nest for offense. And she's usually on defense. Oh, and there's no Omicron here. Maybe he's trying to trick me into thinking he has the Omicron, which is why this team is on defense, but other than that, I don't know why. I guess it's better than the Rolo team. Let's hit Captain Han, because he's the one with days on basic. Okay, that's one. I'd rather take out Captain Han. Come on, man. Go away, Captain Han. Just the one character I care about. Alright. I miss Nest. So many counters that or so many solos I've been avoiding because she just is so nice on defense. She's been with the BAM team, and whenever people try to use CLS or Troopers up against BAM, you can get stuck if Stark is on the Trooper team, or with CLS with all the turn meter removal, it messes things up. It's been a number of wins. Let's see here. Let's clear the top and then we'll just see what I have left. We're gonna try and do some solos. I want the buffer. Night Sisters just can't be on defense anymore. Okay. Beautiful. Love it. So good. What? No. No, wrong target. Okay. So that's 2 solos down. I think we can do a JKL solo somewhere. I want to see if we can find it. I'm going to do Geos up against Bad Batch. His Bad Batch team is not one of the better ones. And from the Hot Utils comparison tool, we also saw that it's not modded great, or at least the Echo isn't modded great, and that's the piece that matters. Okay. Modded good enough, I guess. For my Geos, not that it matters as much. There we go. I really don't want to use. Let's just use this. Get a couple more exposes, hit them. Perfect. One of these days I'll have better Geonosians. CLS Maul. It's not the greatest Maul team either. He doesn't have the key relics. Oh, he has Jango, but he used Jango with his Zam. Yeah, I don't think there's really... Oh, you could be stunned. Maybe I'm just not remembering this right. Alright, I'm going to get rid of Canderous. I'm choosing poorly. Don't like that. Okay. Let's get this done. Okay. I need to revisit the tenacity on those guys. Kylo Ren here. Do I think it's been a while since I've had to face a Kylo Ren? I have so much left. So we're looking at what? Mando, Kylo Ren, and a team I've already forgotten. I've got so much. I want to find some solos. And that is a very tempting Luke solo. I just want to be right about it. Because this is also one of the things I said at the beginning of the video I shouldn't be doing. Oh, JTR, we're not going to JTR. We're not going to solo JTR. In this Mando team, we don't want them to get the contract off. So we are going to use Jedi Knight Luke up against Kylo Ren. I miss the days of the old Grand Arena where I could like try to get like 7 solos in a match when... Well, maybe I don't miss that exactly, because it was usually because there were some pretty gross mismatches in those days. But that was one of the ways I would entertain myself. Alright, let's do a little of this. A little of this. We should just hit Kylo. Okay. Great. So that's 3 solos. Is there a 4th? Problem is JML is not a great solo character. Let's take a glance at this. Executor, Finalizer, Ackbar is, yeah, that's what he does. That's what I was anticipating. He doesn't have SLKR either, so his Finalizer is not going to be much better than mine. Not a scary JTR team either. Oh, we got... Oh my god, we have so much stuff left. Which is... I mean, it's deceiving a little bit, because part of the reason we have so much stuff left is because I've been able to do 3 solos. Mando. We're just gonna troopers Mando. Or do we want an undersize? What if we just did that? Let's do that. All right. I don't know, we'll just do whatever. I guess JML so we can do a easy undersize. Do I want another? No, let's just do that. Okay. Let's do ships. Which is now the hardest part of Grand Arena. Because I am somehow less than 40 minutes into this and we're already at fleet. Usually it's another 15 minutes. Like if you're not in Kyber 1, I think the rest of the Kyber divisions were just in an arms race of trying to build up enough good fleets. The Kyber 1 players, that's a different universe. They have all the good fleets, or most of them do. And in those scenarios, they're playing a little bit of a different strategy. I think some of them are going all out on defense. And unless you have good fleets, I don't know about that. Alright, let's just double checking. And he has a Relic 5 Beskar Mando. So that should mean this counter is safe. Although I'm a little worried about it. Do I want to do this? Yeah, let's just do it. I want the force light up. Go, go, good. Okay. We're safe. Would have preferred a double tap there, but that's fine. Bring in the Ebb and Hawk, get our chaff on the field. Basic. Basic. What is going on, guys? Alright, there goes his Razor Crest. That's all fine. Great, we can target Slave 1. Solves that problem. Now we need to get the payout. Just alright, there's our payout. Alright, we're gonna mark Cad Bane. Ultimate. Okay. definitely slave one. Let me just auto. Yeah, so the rest of this is for the rest of the players in Kyber. Kyber's 2 through 5. This is an arms race of building up as many good fleets as possible, which is why in the off period I added gear to my Finalizer fleet. That's the one I want to do first because I like the flexibility of choosing that for offense or defense because it's fast. And he had gear 12 on his Kylo. Yeah. And I think he had a bunch of gear 11 pilots other than his Kylo Ren. I don't have... What do I... No, I do have Ackbar. Alright, we're gonna... Malevolence Ackbar then. I'm just making sure this is spy. Alright, perfect. I think we're probably a week away from learning the next Conquest character. I also wonder if maybe CG changes the release cadence on Conquest characters. Because this every 3-month rate, I don't know if CG can keep this up. That's a lot. That's like a lot of good quality characters. They're either going to have to reduce the quality of the characters or reduce the cadence of those characters. But for this next Conquest, it's most likely going to be a light side ship. Luke's X-Wing is just waiting. That's Conquest worthy. But after that, I don't know what CG does. Yeah. I don't know why I did that. That was not what I should have done. For some reason, like, my brain felt like we were playing the home one. And I thought that ability was going to heal. Let's just get it over with. And now Ackbar, Finalizer, this should be straightforward. Although, this is something I don't like doing with good Finalizer fleets. Because my Biston isn't good enough for a good Finalizer. It's fine for this one. Yeah. So what he has for offense is Malevolence, Negotiator, and then probably Empire Fleet. I don't know how great his Empire Fleet is though. And he has Radis. I guess we'll do the Outrider. This might be my fastest Grand Arena ever. Or it's up, especially in Grand Arena 2.0. That was pretty fast. Okay, I like my chances. I've got a much deeper roster. I've got a much deeper mod inventory. I think this is a situation where I think he's gonna. He's not. I don't think he's gonna one-shot me. At least I like my chances that he can't, and that is the whole goal with what I set down. Eat up his good counters, force him into using his weaker teams up against my weaker teams, which I like more than his. But thank you for watching. We've got Fifth Brother on the way, but without a kit reveal, there's nothing really to say beyond that. There is the announcement about the Grand Inquisitor. I was waiting for a talk video before I talked about it, but calling it a legendary and it not having legendary requirements, I'm very irritated by. I don't normally complain about things, so it's not something that I would get upset about, but it's a thing where all they would have had to have done is just call it something else. Call it a journey event, call it whatever, make a new name up for it, and I wouldn't have cared. Like, fine, they got to move the goalposts, whatever. If you call it a legendary, that means something. You can't change the definition. I don't know why they're inviting this situation and conflict up, because one of the things that is most fun, especially for players like me, is trying to beat things with lower requirements, and there's a financial incentive for why they don't want to introduce those types of things into the game, at least character releases that way, but it takes some of the joy and fun out of those kind of character releases. Like, why even release characters like that if you're not going to allow players with lower thresholds? Just like, hand us the character then. Don't even have a playthrough. Don't even have an event if it's not going to be a challenge or fun, or to not reward players to do things for a little less. It's like, I almost wonder, has the this is all talk video worthy, and I probably, because no one's going to watch this, but it's something where has the events as a character release mechanic outstayed their purpose and relevancy? Because if you're going to just gate things based on having a need like that, and it's a straight playthrough, like the Starkiller event was boring. It was really boring. And you're almost, when you're requiring something as high as Relic 5, you're almost forcing yourself into having a boring event at that point. Because to do Relic 5 and then need to have characters at like a Relic 7 level to beat it would anger players altogether for another reason. So that they have to make it where if it's a Relic 5 requirement, it's going to be beatable at Relic 5. And that's not fun. Like, they're not balancing fun with their profit motive enough. And it's something that needs to be revisited and recalibrated. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be safe out there, everyone, and be excellent to each other. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.